the past few years, the theme park industry has lost many different fan favourite roller coasters. From the tallest roller coaster in the world to the second tallest roller coaster in the world because it's still not open, to even some that weren't exactly fan favourites anyway, and everyone's actually secretly glad that they're all gone. But lucky for us here in the UK, we haven't lost any roller coasters in that period. And it's now 2025, we're 2 days in, and we haven't had any still. I hope. So today, I thought to begin the brand new year and, start it off on such a positive topic, I want to speculate and almost prepare myself for whatever the next closure of a UK roller coaster could be. And I actually have quite a few controversial ideas, so be sure to watch till the end if you want to see them. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. It would be greatly appreciated. But yes, if you're watching this just after New Year's Day, then Happy New Year to you all. Welcome to 2025. You're already in 2025, so why do you need welcoming? Last year was really good, and this year on the channel is going to be even better. Plus the fact that I haven't eaten a shoe since last year, and I will not be doing it again. But even in the previous year, we've seen some of the parks that we know and love definitely close some major rides. Not necessarily roller coasters, but rides, such as Alton Towers closing the Blade, Flavio's Fandango, that's probably the biggest loss of them all. We lost the entirety of Flambard's theme park, and loads of other rides have been demolished and removed. I just think now's the time to speculate and wonder about the future of some of the roller coasters in our country, because it could be the end of the road for some of them in the next couple years. And I'll start with my potential list. I think this potential list only contains one coaster on it, but it's fun to talk about it anyway, because I think it might stay, just not as its current form. And that is Galactica at Alton Towers. Now, if you are subscribed to this channel and you have been for a very long time, you may know I sort of want Galactica to be gone. As much as I loved Air as a kid, Galactica just doesn't fit in its area. You've got some big monster thing, and then toxic weapon, and now, yeah, space travel. I think it needs to go, I can't lie. But the reason this is on my potential list and not my main it's gonna go at some point list is because I think Galactica won't just be sort of demolished and a new ride will be built there. I do think they're going to retheme it eventually. I mean, they literally hinted at it in the fireworks show for 2024. I mean, you had Nemesis battling a spacecraft that on the TVs had the same graphics that Galactica did when it first released. And I did actually make a brand new sort of version of Galactica with loads of different theming added and all that stuff. So if you want to see that, then link in top right. But yeah, I think that will sort of be the case. We'll have a few fighter jets around, a different colour scheme for the ride, a new name such as like Air Command or something. That'd be nice. Just a whole new experience that's not Galactica and actually fits with the military vibe. Although I wouldn't be against them completely removing it, I can't lie. You can remove it, Alton Towers. Voltron clone? And whilst we're talking about Alton Towers major roller coasters, Galactica doesn't fit into its area. Rita doesn't fit into the entire park because it is that diabolical and bad. I'm only joking, I love Rita so much. New year, new me. God, 1,000 likes and I'll ride Rita all day this year. Why have I said that? Why have I said that? Why have I said that? But being serious, Rita in the Dark Forest, compared to all the other rides at Alton Towers, it's not the greatest. Let's be honest. And I know it's got that amazing hydraulic launch at the start, which is one problem in itself, but I'll get to that. And it's got a few pops of airtime and it's quite intense, but other than that, it just doesn't really do anything. Whereas obviously Galactica, the world's first flying coaster, even if it's very relaxing and not very thrilling. Nemesis is very intense, Smiler goes upside down 14 times, the list goes on. But not with Rita in it. I mean, heck, it's a launch coaster and it's not even the fastest ride at the park. So with those factors, and the fact that all of these hydraulic launch coasters such as Top Thrill 2 or King Dakar are being removed, I do think that eventually there will be no light at the end of the tunnel for Rita. And I do think something will replace it, whether we get an LSM launch coaster in its place to sort of homage it. Maybe we'll get a 400-foot spike at the back of it. I don't know, but the Dark Forest will not be the same without 13. Rita doesn't really matter, so that's fine by me. And talking of hydraulic launch coasters, one that very much relies on that launch is Stealth over at Thorpe Park. Now, this is obviously a controversial one because I don't want Stealth to go, but I feel like we have to discuss its true future. Because as much as I absolutely love this thing and the launch is just insane, it is the world's fastest accelerating roller coaster after all, stop, Six Flags fans. I don't care. And the height and speed you get off of it is insane. It's my second favourite at the park after Hyperia, but considering it is a hydraulic launch coaster and how hydraulic launch coasters have been a dying breed recently. And as much as Stealth is a shorter and sort of, I don't know, not as tall and fast version of the ones that have died, they are very expensive to maintain, and just the way that those launches work and the fact that the Intamin don't even manufacture that thing anymore, I think something will definitely happen with it. And whether it becomes like Top Thrill 2, a sort of version of itself with a spike behind, because I can imagine Thorpe Park doing that, or whether it gets flattened and used for something else. Maybe get rid of Rumble Rapids as well. Make a massive long coaster, please. That's if you have to get rid of Stealth. Please don't, if you don't have to. But yeah, on this list, I think that's the one that I would probably be most gutted about. And tell you one that I might not be gutted about, Colossus. Now, this was originally going to be on this list, but Thorpe Park have recently decided to paint the whole thing. And I don't think you'd paint the whole thing if in a few years you went, nah, bye-bye. So as much as I think Colossus in its area is obviously quite a big coaster, and it is a little bit rough here and there, and the trains definitely need upgrading, if that doesn't happen, I could see it getting removed, but I feel that's unlikely. So I'm going to throw another controversial one in the mix, that being Nemesis. The original one, technically, because Nemesis Reborn opened last year. I hate myself the fact I said that. But Nemesis Inferno, why do I think that might be the one to go? Well, first of all, it is the second oldest major coaster in the park, after Colossus, of course, and Colossus has been repainted. Nemesis Inferno isn't. And also, if you walk around the layout of the ride, you will notice that a few supports have this white paint on them. Now, I don't know if that'll be the same this year, or whether, like, I know they've just painted over it and they're actually going to repaint it this year. All of my theories are gone. Well, over the past few seasons, the reason why there's been some white paint is because apparently they've noticed cracks in some of the supports, and that's how they've done over them. They haven't just painted over them, they've obviously fixed them up. But from what I believe, there were some issues structurally with the supports of the ride, or a few of them. So that's already not a great start, because Nemesis Reborn literally had the same problem, and that is why it became Nemesis Reborn. So I'm not too sure. I don't know if they'd actually sort of retrack it and go for the Nemesis Reborn sort of thing, Nemesis Re-Volcano, or whether they would literally scrap it, because that is a big area that they could do something completely new in. So we'll never know until a few years down the line, where I'm sure they'll tell us if that's happening. Something I do think will get removed over the next few years, and I think it might happen sooner than that, is Vampire at Chessington. Now, once again, like with the Nemesis Reborn or Nemesis Inferno thing, will it get retracked? I don't know. But Vampire seems like a likely candidate to actually get retracked, because much like Nemesis is quite an old ride, it is a fan favourite after all as well. Not a Dan favourite though, I'm not a big fan of it, I can't lie. And yes, the theming in the queue and the sort of station area is incredible, I just don't think it has the same excitement factor and sort of wow as it did before. Which is why I say, get Vekoma in and do a massive refurbishment and make this inverted coaster much like Flight of the Pterosaur at Paulton's, or even, let me try and pronounce it again, Nafiana Force at Emerald Park. Don't add any inversions, just add like maybe some like higher speed turns and lower some of the elements so it's a lot faster, because Vampire does just meander along the trees for ages. And keep the most iconic parts of it, like going over the main bit of Wild Woods and sort of through the sort of woods themselves. Just make it modern, which is exactly what I think they should do, and I think that might happen in the next couple years. And I'm pretty sure I said that about 3 years ago, and it hasn't happened yet. So in 3 years' time, we can look back and laugh at me. And another roller coaster I could see getting removed quite soon, but not as soon as the others, I think, is the biggest one of them all. The big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now you're going to say to me, whoa, they've retracked certain parts of it. Why would they remove it? Well, the retract parts feel worse than the actual old parts. And I know it's to do with the structural integrity and stuff, but I don't care. Let's speculate. I think the big one, as much as it is an icon, would definitely be able to be something better. Maybe if they use some of the supports to make, I don't know, an RMC. Can you imagine that? Maybe if they just completely got rid of it and turned it into another Mac Hyper, because they have a good relationship with Mac, or something even better than that. I don't know, I just think eventually the big one will have had its day. And as much as that will be a sad day because an iconic roller coaster is dying, I don't mind. But of course, all of these are subject to what the parks actually do, because this is all speculation and me yapping. Once again, I don't know why I said it, but 1,000 likes and I'll ride Rita all day this year. Way. And yeah, leave your thoughts down below on what you think the next roller coaster in the UK to be removed might be. And subscribe as well. Watch this video on screen if you want to see my thoughts about Oblivion potentially leaving. I know I didn't mention it in this video, but there's some good points in there. Yay!